Hey guys, Sam here, and yeah, it's very obvious that I haven't shaved in a while, but right now, as I'm recording this video, it's at the end of spring break, and eventually have to go back to college. It's gonna be very busy for me, so yeah, I just wanted to get this review out as quickly as I could. So, this time, I'm not reviewing an episode from a regular cartoon or anything like that, although technically this could be considered a cartoon, but this is more like, YouTube content. And this is from a YouTuber that I have talked about before on my past channel, but you don't know what video I'm talking about for any of you newcomers, so I'll just give you a little refresher. So, back on my BaseballSam2 channel, I did do a review on a YouTuber's content, and that YouTuber was ToucanLDM, who's most known for his series called MLP Meets, where basically he takes a character from a different franchise to meet the characters that are in the MLP universe. Say Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and Superman was the one that I took a look at, MLP Meets Superman. In that episode, Superman was summoned to Equestria by Princess Celestia in order to face off against Queen Chrysalis and Superman's biggest enemy outside of Lex Luthor, General Zod. I guess you could technically call him like his greatest Kryptonian enemy, I guess. I think. Anyway, so Superman and Princess Celestia, faced off against them together. Princess Celestia actually was allowed to have some badass moments in that episode. She was actually able to send Queen Chrysalis out, blasting off again. While Superman tricked General Zod with some red kryptonite that turned him into a bunny. You try and figure that one out. But anyway, it was a fun episode, and out of all the other MLP Meets episodes that actually had the superheroes in there, I think that was probably the best one. So, why am I taking a look at MLP Meets Iron Man? Just because I can. I mean, hey, it's my choice. I choose what I want to cover, so there's no restrictions, there's no instructions on what to cover, what not to cover. I'm basically saying, fuck it. I want to take a look at MLP Meets Iron Man. So let's go ahead and get started. And so the summary, it's not really too big, so here it goes. So in this one, we see Apple Bloom and Babsy trying to have a picnic, but it gets interrupted by Garble and these two other bully dragons. But before they can really start bullying them, they come across Iron Man. So at first, they think, well, let's just get rid of it so it doesn't ruin their fun. So the brown dragon goes up to Iron Man and tries to punch him in the stomach. It doesn't work. And then Iron Man, from that point on, starts kicking their ass. He beats up the brown dragon, punches him so hard that he goes down a well. Then when a purple dragon tries to hurt him with fire, which doesn't really work out, Iron Man uses his blasters to literally have that purple dragon blast off again into the sky. And then, now all that's left is Garble. So Iron Man starts beating him up, and then at one point punches him so hard that Garble lets out this big belching fire, and it not only singes part of Apple Bloom's bow, but it ends up, scorching Lyra and Bonbon. And yeah, that was a running joke in ToucanLDM's videos, Lyra and Bonbon getting, lots of misfortune. Which, of course, would lead to an episode where ToucanLDM did literally meet Lyra and Bonbon, and, their interaction wasn't sweet. No, not sweet at all. But anyway, so Iron Man blasts Garble away, has him cornered by a tree, and at that point, Garble is just desperate and not wanting to be beat down anymore. He's like, please, I'll do anything you want, just please stop. So, what happens? Well, in the very next scene, when Iron Man shows up to an Avengers meeting, he actually brings Garble with him. Yeah, turns out that he decides to take Garble in as his own pet. And he decides to name him Clover.
I was just taking Clover here for a walk.
But I told you my name is Garble.
Shut up! Your name is Clover!
Okay, sir.
That is one of the weirdest endings ever. And yet one of the funniest. And that's literally where the episode ends. I mean, it wasn't really that long of an episode. It was only like a few minutes. But you know what? Those few minutes were actually both funny and action-packed. I mean, the fighting was kind of cool. There was some good comedic moments here and there. The sound effects were used pretty well. And during the fight scenes, Black Sabbath was actually used. I think an instrumental track of the Iron Man song. Because, get it, Iron Man. And it actually was well done. The voice actors did a fine job. And yeah, just seeing Iron Man beat up dragons, just for the raw spectacle of it, it's pretty fun. But just because it's fun doesn't mean it's flawless. There are a few problems. Like, one, it's obvious that this was still at the start of when ToucanLDM was getting better and better at animation, so it really would be unfair to compare this with the works that he would have later on. So yeah, there's some times where, like, you know, some of the animation could be like a little choppy, but that could be excusable because he was still learning his craft. But yeah, it still is a little bit of a nitpick. Another nitpick I have is, why is Iron Man here? I mean, he literally just shows up and starts beating up dragons, and we're never given an explanation as to why he's here. I mean, that's kind of the problem that happened with other superheroes. Batman literally arrived in his tumbler, crashing into Lyra and Bonbon for, like, again, how did he get there? I mean, did his Tumbler turn into the DeLorean for a second? Did he drive so fast that he ended up in Ponyville? Just how? Now, in the case of, let's see, Spider-Man. In that case, he was facing off against the Green Goblin, and when Goblin gave him one of these pumpkin bombs that exploded, Spider-Man was sent flying across God knows where, and he ended up in Ponyville. Now, I guess I can get it a little bit because, you know, the bomb sent him that far away, but again, is Manhattan just a stone's throw away to MLP? I mean, isn't like what Angry Joe said in the Batman v Superman review? It's literally across the street? Like, what? Now that was something they actually did correct in the MLP Meets Superman episode. In fact, in that one, they actually do give us a real good reason as to why Superman is in that episode. Princess Celestia summoned him. So it wasn't like, oh, Superman was just flying so fast around the world that he ended up in Ponyville. No, he was literally summoned. So there actually was a logical reason as to why he was there. I mean, that's actually something that I really take seriously about fan fictions. I mean, you can have a lot of different stuff in your fan fictions, but the best fan fictions, in my opinion, are the ones that you could actually believe the writers and the directors and the animators, like the real people that would make these shows or movies, would actually do. Like, make the stuff that you would think, they would probably do that. I'm sure they would. So that's why MLP Meets Superman is probably the best out of all these, like, you know, having the most famous superheroes meeting the MLP characters, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to knock down Iron Man for that. Again, it's still fun, but again, that question, why is he here, it's still never answered. It's never explained why he came there. It's not even said like, oh, he came through a portal or something, or oh, he was just summoned and he flew so fast. Like, no, he just literally shows up. Like, he literally just drops down and just starts kicking dragon ass. Like, again, no reason. And another reason why this really doesn't work entirely is Iron Man doesn't talk. Aside from the ending where he, you know, talks about, oh yeah, I have this new pet dragon named Clover, he doesn't talk. Throughout the entire time he fights the dragons, he never says a word. Was it trying to do what it did when we first saw Iron Man in that new classic red and yellow suit when he was going up against those Afghanistan villains when they were trying to kill civilians? Was that what it was trying to do? You know, Iron Man hardly said a word in that one either, so maybe that's what it was trying to do? Again, I'm just trying to figure out what the purpose was there, or at least, you know, what the idea was. But look, despite my nitpicks, I'm really trying, I'm not saying that this episode is bad, not by a long shot. It definitely was entertaining, it's fun, and just, again, for the raw spectacle of it, it definitely is good on that front. Again, it just has some problems that hold it back from being, you know, really excellent, you know, just the logical stuff, and just, you know, fan fiction can be fine, but again, if you're just doing it just for the sake of, oh, just having these characters interact, I mean, that's fine, but again, have a little bit of logic in there. I mean, you can disagree with me all you want, but that's just how I see it. And look, if you really did enjoy this and think this probably is the best out of all of ToucanLDM's work, I can't stop you. That's for you to decide. So yeah, despite my issues with it, I still did enjoy it. So final score, I'll give MLP Meets Iron Man a 7 out of 10. I mean, not great, but definitely entertaining. And again, if you want to see Iron Man beat up dragons, then this is for you. Although, now that I think about it, maybe there actually could have been a way that Iron Man could be brought into the world logically. Like, you remember that one scene in Avengers where Iron Man sends the missile up to that portal where the Chitauri are to blow them up? Well, let's say during that, there happened to be another portal that opened up, and instead of the one that Iron Man came out of that brought him back to his world, he ended up in the My Little Pony world. He actually ended up through a portal to Equestria. Maybe that was it. And let's say he was like very confused, like, you know, where am I and stuff like that. And then he sees the dragons trying to bully these other two ponies, Babseed and Apple Bloom, and then he goes, that's not right. And then he decides to really take them on like he would with those Afghanistan villains back in the first Iron Man movie. I mean, I'm just saying it as if I was a writer of this episode. But again, it's a 7 out of 10. I still did enjoy it, and I do recommend it. The link to the episode is actually in the description. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And ToucanLDM, if you're watching, yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've looked at your videos, and I'm really glad I'm returning to them. And also, I'll even leave a link in the description to someone's reaction to the episode. It's actually Applegeek's reaction to it. Like, because in my opinion, Applegeek is one of the best reaction channels I've ever seen. Although he hasn't made content in quite a while. Probably because, you know, there's not as much MLP content as there used to be. But yeah, still, the links to the episode and the reaction are in the description down below. Again, it was not scripted. This was entirely off the cuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And as always, my name is Sam. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I wonder if I've said that already, but whatever. And good night, everybody. Sorry for how unprofessional this video was, but again, I wanted to get it out as quickly as possible. So, bye-bye.